Then I think it's also important to, in a lot of cases, companies look at it and they just cut costs blindly, which I think is a wrong strategy. Make sure that you understand the impact that this cost that you cut is going to have on your business as a whole, in terms of service, in terms of morale, in terms of culture, in terms of your reputational risk there outside there as well. Hi, it's Alida Smith from Express Employment Professionals, and today we're talking about workforce planning in a volatile environment when hiring without overcommitting. In a volatile economy, workforce planning is more difficult and uncertain. We all know that from a business perspective. The reason for this, the demand is volatile, so we're not sure about how and what we're going to get from a demand point of view. There must be, for any business owner, we must focus more on a cost because it's a volatile economy. So cost focus and making sure that you know that your budget is planned to the best of your ability. The labor market conditions can change, so you need to be on top of that. And I think the last thing, or one of the last things that is a difficult position in a volatile economy is your skills that needs to change for future requirements. In a volatile economy, one of the key decisions a business must make is to when to hire and when to wait. I think the best advice would be to make sure that you only hire if you have a proven demand. When the booking is booked and the order is in, then you will be able to plan better. I think also you can't wait on critical roles. If it's a critical role, you can't wait until such time that the order came in. So first prioritize critical roles. Then I think another thing is to wait before you make a permanent hire. You can always look at a contract position because of the uncertainty of demand and what is happening in this volatile economy. Another thing I think is also a good idea is to add one role at a time only. Add it as you think is required from an operational point of view. Hire smaller but faster, I think is the main key in deciding when to hire and when not to hire, when to wait. So the risk for hiring too fast or too quickly or not hiring at all is obviously locked in fixed costs if you hire too fast. So we all know that salaries is a fixed cost on your balance sheet. And then if you hire too fast, you lock yourself in. And with today's labor relations, it's not that easy to get rid of people if it's a permanent position. The second thing that can be a risk is if your culture fit is bad. If you just made a decision and you didn't follow the due process and the culture fit is poor, again, it will impact your quality and your culture of the company that you are managing. If you hire too slow, you can also strain the operational side of your business, or you can let your people that's currently there working too much overtime, which is an impact on the morale of the company in total. As well as you might miss growth opportunities, which is something that you don't want to miss in a volatile economy. I think reputational risk is also a huge risk in terms of if you promise and you can't deliver. Especially in a volatile economy, people don't have the tolerance for you not to deliver. So those are, I think, the risks that is going along with if not hiring or hiring too fast. I think a question that every business owner has in his mind in a volatile economy is how can flexible staffing options help businesses stay adaptable? And I think that is one of the biggest concerns of any business owner in a volatile economy. So, convert fixed cost into flexible cost, I think, is one of the big things that we can do to stay adaptable. That means we can switch on and switch off cost and staffing and resources when required, which is something that really can assist us in a volatile economy. If you can start covering peak seasons that you know is going to come up in your business in a volatile economy, and you can plan for that to cover short-term peaks and gaps. Would be helpful, like for instance maternity leave or sick leave or unexpected resignations. Scarce skills. I think in a flexible environment, you can have access to scarce skills which you might not have in a permanent position because of the agency or the company that is helping you with your recruitment's ability to attract better resources and skills. Also reducing the try before you buy option, what we call in Express is evaluation hire, is also something that I think can help you in flexible staffing solutions can help you with, because it gives you an opportunity to ensure that the staffing that you get and the skills that you get fits the position that you currently are looking for. And it gives you an opportunity to try it out while you're not committing to any fixed cost going forward. The support of multi-skilling and redeployment is something that we can assist with in terms of helping cross-training and flexible job design to help people be more skilled and in cross-skilled, cross-trained. And then the last thing I think is that the improve resilience through hybrid or remote options, which is also something that the flexibility that you were looking for in a volatile economy. The signs that a business can look for before committing to new hires are quite a few. I think the very first thing from a business perspective is revenue. In the moment that you see your revenue is not where it should be, and you know you're in a volatile economy, I think that's the first sign where you need to say, okay, maybe I must just hold on and before committing to a new hire. The second one, I think, is your increased quality, or if quality is decreased and overtime is improving, which is also going to impact negatively on your cost. Maybe that is then time to look at the moment that there's longer response times, your service is going to go down. So that is maybe a time when you should say, okay, maybe I need additional people to start helping me getting through this. Then revenue signals, I think it's the strongest one that I can think of. But also for each appointee that you want to make, you need to have a clear business role and understand the value that each of these roles will actually impact and have on your revenue and your business in total. And then I think the current, if your current processes are optimized, there's a question that you need to think of is, can I maybe reduce downtime on processes? Is my process optimized to a level where I can taking everything that I can from my candidates and my people at work? And then I think the last one is you've tested flexibility and you see it's a continuous thing and you need to actually fill that gap. Then you can start considering to appoint new hires. Companies can plan for growth without overcommitting their resources through a step which we call scaling phases, which is something that you can scale your business, but don't do it all at once. Determine certain phases in which you want to scale and make sure that your milestones and your triggers that will scale the next process is clear and understood, so that you must understand when is it time to actually appoint new resources before overcommitting. Then I think one of the first things that we do is we need to protect our cash flow. That is it's the first thing that I think we need to look at. And before you overcommitting, making sure that you can actually, your cash flow is not going to suffer because of this additional cost. Flexible capacity before you go permanent. As I said previously, the flexibility of switching on and off resources is a very good strategy in a volatile economy. And then that improve systems. Maybe it's time for you to take a good look at your systems and your processes. And then lastly, I think it's that stop, pause, trigger. So when do I stop and pause, and when can I go ahead with my with recruiting efforts for resources? I think it all depends on the business. You know your business better than anybody else, so make sure you understand those triggers better and do read them correctly before you appoint additional people. Okay, some practical advice I would give business owners to stay stable during uncertain times include the first one, and I think it's something that we all need to understand, is your numbers. Understand your numbers. Is it a daily, is your business a daily number where you need to understand what did I do today to pick up signals early? Or is it a weekly signal that you need to look at? But I think the first thing is to understand your numbers and know that you're on a downscale, and understand that you need to create different strategies to survive. Then the second thing I would suggest is that you protect your biggest client or your core clients first. So focus on making sure that you are actually servicing your current clients, your core clients, to the best of your ability with the current resources before anything else. Then improve your cash flow management. In times when the economy goes down, it is time for us to take a real hard look at how do we manage cash, how do we spend it, and how do we preserve it so that we can make the most of the cash in our business. Stay flexible, I think, is number 4 for me. You have to have flexibility in your business. You cannot have a rigid structure, a rigid employee scheme, which will, at the end of the day, cost you your business. In a volatile economy, everything is uncertain. So make sure that you have the ability to switch on and switch off and build flexibility into recruitment. Then I think it's also important to, in a lot of cases, companies look at it and they just cut costs blindly, which I think is a wrong strategy. Make sure that you understand the impact that this cost that you cut is going to have on your business as a whole, in terms of service, in terms of morale, in terms of culture, in terms of your reputational risk there outside there as well. And then I think it's understanding the rhythm so that you can adapt swiftly to whatever is becoming your way in a volatile economy. I think in a volatile economy, the way we know business is different. We have to take a real deep look into our business in entirety, making sure that our processes are optimized, our systems are supportive of what we want to do, our leadership is there to support our staff. So yeah, I think it's not just one thing that will make the difference. It's understanding where you're at, understanding what has changed, and understanding how to respond to it that will make the difference. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe. There is a blog with more info linked in the description below.